greatly interested. Remember last week I talked about invalidation, where you want to be with people that really care about how you feel. They really want to hear your conversations. They enjoy what you have to say. And I was talking to my sister, and she says, I know why you're doing it. You're doing it to help people get better. And I said, exactly. You feel relaxed and at peace because you know there's not going to be no conflicts. You know there's not going to be, and everybody wants to be challenged. I know, I think not as much as I used to, but I used to like challenges. And most people want to be challenged. How to talk about it. Some words you can use to describe different kinds of enjoyment include to be is contentment, okay? Is to be satisfied with your life. In other words, like now I'm very satisfied with my life, so I feel very contented. And then to feel happiness after going through something bad. Like I went through so many bad things at that area that I had the church. And now I feel happiness because I'm not there anymore. Love is important. To be able to love after being abandoned. You have to feel that kind of love, and that would be a great thing to feel after being abandoned. I can't say that as far as a mate, but I can say it as far as my family.
Welcome to Flora. Get ready for empowering talk.
Hello, welcome to the Flora Padilla Show. Thank you for joining me today. I just want to remind you that I have 3 books for sale, and they're right here, right on display. So if you want to buy them, you can buy them at Amazon.com, or you can buy some from me personally. Just let me know through Facebook or on my website. It's called MendingBrokenHeartsMinistries.org. And today my topic is on abandonment. Many people feel in their lives that they've been abandoned by someone or another. Let me tell you what abandonment means. It means it's an emotion, of course. It's an emotional abandonment is something or someone that exists in the mind in which people feel. They feel undeserved, they feel unwelcome, not wanted, or desirable because of harmful, objectionable, or unpleasant things that have been told to them or they have told themselves. I'll give you an example. And I always use my children as example because they're a good example for people to learn from, because they were abandoned from their dad 2 times, went through separation and then through death, and so they experienced losing their dad twice. My children eventually, they managed to come to peace with their dad, which is so important for people to come to that point. They realized that they could not change the past and find out that something was not meant to be and no longer dwelled on what should have been. And a lot of people do that. They dwell on what, I've done it personally myself. I've always said, I wonder if he would have been okay and he would have been a good husband, a good father. I wonder how our life would be. But there's no point in even thinking that, because it's a done deal. He's gone, and there was nothing we could do about it. So I remember my son wanting his dad to watch his games because he played well. He played very, very well. And he was proud of his achievements. He wanted him to be there, like every son wants their dad to be there. I'm sure there's many of dads that do go to their children's baseball teams and watch their children play. And because my son was such a great player, he played 110%. He put everything into it. So he was an extremely good football player, basketball. In basketball, he did it mainly just for exercise. He didn't do as well in basketball, but he did really well in football and in baseball and other things. So he wanted his dad to be there. One day he walked up to me and told me, I've accepted that my dad will not be at any of my games. I certainly try to be there for all his games because I really enjoyed it. And then my daughter, she wanted her dad to hear her sing. She invited him once, but he never showed up. My daughter also accepted that he was not going to show up to see and hear her sing. When my daughter got married, her brother gave her away. He walked her to the altar. So eventually, though you managed to come to peace with all of it, you realize that you cannot change the past and find out that some things are not meant to be, so you don't dwell on it. You come to accept that the past is in the past, and no amount of thinking deep about how the loss can change. So you accept it, and you continue your journey, and nothing is going to change that. I realized that the history my children had with their abandonment from their father had made them stronger. And I think that's why I come on every week, because I want this for all children. I want this for, that's why I went into the prisons for as many years as I went to, because I said if my children could do it, they could do it. Because a lot of the men in the prisons were young. They were very young. And I would share with them that they could do it too. And that's why I come on every week, so I can maybe make a difference in someone's life that might be struggling and saying, I was abandoned. It could be your mom or your dad. I think that should be true for anyone who has been abandoned by someone and experienced so much pain, because it is a lot of pain. I didn't experience that, but my children did. It makes you stronger and more understanding. And believe me, I think in my situation, I felt abandoned, but not in the same manner. And it did make me stronger. It made me more self-sufficient, more independent. It makes you a better person because you can relate with others more naturally. In other words, you don't have to force yourself. You just, when people are around you, they feel like they've known you for years. It makes you more loyal in your relationships, and it makes you understand how hurtful other actions can be. The purpose of me sharing this is because if you have known anyone who was abandoned by their dads or their moms, and they are going through a hard time right now, do not be afraid to reach out and see how they are doing, because they really need you at this time. Do not be afraid to reach out and check in from time to time. Chances are they will be distant and go through spells of coldness and push you away. But that is when they need you the most, and just keep that in mind. When they're trying to push you away, that's when they need you the most. That is when they need a friend like you to help them out. When you are hurting and feeling pain, you tend to push people away. I did that, so I've experienced that. That is when they need you the most. I was talking to my daughter this morning, and I told her, I have to go work the polls Tuesday, the election. I said, why did I commit myself to that? And then my daughter says, Mom, why don't you want to get committed to anything anymore? And I said, because everything's a lot of work, which it is. And it's not that I don't want to commit myself to things. It's just that I have things that I'm focused on. It is unpleasant for them, so staying away from people, places, and thoughts that may cause anxiety or pain or unpleasant feelings. In other words, they hate to go somewhere and feel all those feelings because they need that healing in their lives. Many take the responsibility of others, and that's so true, because I counseled many codependent parents, and they didn't know they were part of the problem until I had to tell them, guess what? You're part of this disease. You're part of this problem here. I remember I had a woman that asked if I could work with her daughter because she had many issues. As I started working with the daughter, I found out that her mother would constantly put her down. In her mother's eyes, she could not be anything. She could not do anything right. She was a failure to her mom. They were both disagreeable. They couldn't agree to anything. Both would hurt each other, and the results, they were both angry at the end of the day. They were both angry and upset. They both felt unacceptable, not pleasing to each other. Her mom was exhausted trying to help her daughter, and I've seen many parents that are exhausted in trying to help their kids when they have a drug problem, an alcohol problem, or something's going on, and they're trying to get help for them. Some of them go to every pastor in Albuquerque, and some go to pastors out of Albuquerque. I know I can relate to that. I was a codependent. The daughter and the mom both felt unfortunate, feeling that nothing will ever work for them no matter what they did. Yeah, because they were doing everything wrong. So that was never going to work because they both needed counseling. They both needed support. They both needed to be taught what they should say to the daughter, and the daughter needed to know what to say to the mom. The daughter felt unappealing, unattractive, because her mom would constantly tell her she was fat. Even though she had a dad and mom, she felt abandoned. She felt awful, she felt terrible, displeasing, not wanted or desirable, because harmful and unpleasant words were told to her by her mom. She felt left behind, insecure, or discarded. She felt all those things. People experience emotional abandonment. Many feel at loss, cut off from a particular important provision that has been withdrawn, either suddenly or through a process of wasting away. So many are in that condition. The mom is trying to help the daughter, but yet she says all the wrong things. And then when the daughter responds to the mom, she's saying all the wrong things. So they, instead of getting better, they get worse. So you know that they both need help. I always used to say, okay, I'm going to minister to you, but I also have to minister to your mom, and if they had a dad or if they had brothers and sisters, because it becomes a family problem. And sometimes people think that's my problem. No, when you have an addictive personality and you're addicted to alcohol or drugs or something that's not good for you, it becomes a family problem. Her mom did love her, and I knew that because, see, the reason they're trying to help is because they love their children, but they're doing all the wrong things. But she expressed in a negative way. She wanted help for her, but she was hurting her more. Many do that. Her mom had to accept her in the condition she was in. And that's one of the things that will succeed. If you accept each other for what you are and who you are, you'll be able to communicate better. You'll be able to talk better to each other. There'll be it opens a door of communication, because see, you're not wanting her to be like what you think she should be. You need to let her be who she is so that she can figure out what she needs to do about her life. So her mom had to accept her in the condition she was in, and she had to let go and let her figure out what she needed to do. What happened is that I landed out helping the mom to let go. And it was really interesting because the mom was very controlling. I can tell you, she was a very nice lady. I really liked her, and she was very helpful. But you could tell she was controlling. She was always telling you what to do, how to do it, and where to go, and all that. And I wouldn't, because I'm not going to be controlled. And there's still a lot of those kind of people that are trying to control other people, and they don't let them be who they are. Have you ever been the driver on the car, and the person next to you is over here telling you, no, turn here, turn there, no, you're going the wrong way, you're gonna, and they even hit the brakes and they don't have the brakes on their side? Have you ever been with those kind of people that are driving on their side? That irritates me. I'll tell them, you know what, I'm going to stop the car and I'm going to let you take over, because nobody should do that to anyone. Nobody should have control of anybody's life. She had an ability to understand that their daughter's views and her opinions may be different than hers, and that is okay. I don't see anything wrong with having different opinions, because we all have different opinions. We see things different. Yeah, you might not agree with what they're doing, and you might not like what they're doing, but you know what? Your place is just to pray for them. Because if you start trying to tell them you're doing the wrong thing, you're saying the wrong thing, guess what? You're just going to hate each other more, dislike each other more. We're going to go ahead and take a short break, and then I will continue on the topic of abandonment. Welcome back. Remember I was talking about a mom and a daughter. She had the ability to understand that her daughter's view or opinions may be different than hers, and that is okay. Putting it all together, emotions are an essential part of who we are, but they can be messy. They can be complicated and done downright confusing sometimes. Knowing how to name them and talk about them with both yourself and others is a key part of developing emotional health. And that's my purpose of being here, because I've learned so many things in my ministry, in helping others, and it's so rewarding when you can come to that place of finding what's causing the pain and become healthy. That's the neatest thing. We currently do not have a clear understanding of the inner feelings and where they can be mapped in the body or brain. Because remember, when you're like last week I talked about when a man or a woman rejects you or you get divorced, the emotion hurts the physical body. It hurts. Sometimes you might get a headache. Sometimes you might get a stomach ache. Sometimes your bones hurt, because it is connected in the body and to the brain. Despite how subjective feelings underlie most aspects of everyday life, let me share the opposite that we can have if we would just accept that we cannot change the person or circumstances. That's so important, that we realize that we cannot change anyone, but the person we can change is ourselves. And when we get changed, we're able to help others and so they can see where their problems are at. Because if we don't know, like if we're dealing with emotional problems, we can't go and help somebody with emotional problems. But you could always try helping someone with what you already know. But we can't change our feelings and replace them with, this is how we can do a transition, transformation. We can go from feeling bad to feeling joy. People generally like to feel happy, calm, and good. I know I do. When I'm going through something, I say, no, I've got to feel that joy. The joy of the Lord is my strength. How we show that we're feeling joy. This is how we show it. You express it by smiling, by laughing, or indulging in yourself. I'm a person that loves humor and loves to laugh. And that makes me happy and it makes me want to smile. The emotions brings to mind by well-being, success, or good fortune, or by the prospect of processing what one desires. The expression to display of such emotions is the state of happiness. So joy gives us strength. You might feel joy. Let me tell you how you're going to feel joy. When you feel close and connected to people you care about. And it's true, when you're with somebody that you're close to, you feel good, because you know you're going to have a good conversation. You know whatever we speak about is going to be good. Those are the things that I enjoy. I like to connect to people that I care about. And then you feel safe and secure, because you know they care about your feelings, you care about their feelings, and you're not going to be saying something to hurt them. You're doing something that you enjoy. In an activity, having one's attention fully engaged, greatly interested. Remember last week I talked about invalidation, where you want to be with people that really care about how you feel. They really want to hear your conversations. They enjoy what you have to say. And you know, I was talking to my sister, and she says, I know why you're doing it. You're doing it to help people get better. And I said, exactly. You feel relaxed and at peace, because you know there's not going to be no conflicts. You know there's not going to be, everybody wants to be challenged. I know, I think not as much as I used to, but I used to like challenges. And most people want to be challenged. How to talk about it. Some words you can use to describe different kinds of enjoyment include is contentment. okay, is to be satisfied with your life. In other words, like now I'm very satisfied with my life, so I feel very contented. And then to feel happiness after going through something bad, like I went through so many bad things at that area that I had the church, and now I feel happiness because I'm not there anymore. Love is important. To be able to love after being abandoned, have been abandoned, you have to feel that kind of love, and that would be a great thing to feel after being abandoned. I can't say that as far as a mate, but I could say it as far as my family. Relief, to feel relieved after being rejected, that you were able to move forward and get rid of all those ugly feelings. See, that makes you happy. You know, when you think about it, you get happy because you say, man, I'm relieved after being rejected, because now you're able to move forward. And then when you're healthy, you can feel peace. In other words, if your body's in health and your mind's in health, you're sound, you're well, you can feel that healthy peace, even when things around you are not what you would like them to be. And that's the beauty of having that kind of peace, is that things could go wrong all around you, but you don't see it or feel it or anything, because you have that peace inside of you. You feel compassion for the people that hurt you and abandon you. See, this is where a lot of people fail. They don't understand that I remember there was a man in Las Lunas. We had Bible studies in his home for a while. Anyway, he would say, "Oh, I wish that person, his neighbor, he hated his neighbor." And one day I told him, "You know what you're going to have to do is pray for your neighbor." And the wife would tell me that after I would leave, he would say, "Yeah, I'll pray that he goes to hell." No, that's not what we pray for. We pray that they do well, that their health is good. We pray good things. We bless them with our prayers. And then you'll start seeing a change in your own personal life. So you have to feel compassion for the people that hurt you and abandon you. If enjoyment and its related feelings feel different, try to take a look at other emotions or feelings that are getting in the way, such as trouble focusing on what is happening in the present. Okay, if you're a worry-wart person, I always say, if you're a worry-wart person, instead of worrying, why don't you just pray? And that'll take care of the worrying. If you're a stressed person, and that's where I have been working on for quite a while, because I would get stressed right away. And right now, what I'm trying to do is just give the stress to God and not carry it, because stress is not good for your health. It's not good at all. A low or anxious mood. We talked about anxiety. So don't get to that place where you have anxiety. And remember, we talked about sadness. Everyone feels sad from time to time, because we will. That's just part of life. But this emotion might relate to a specific event, such as a loss or rejection. So always keep that in mind. You have to pinpoint your sadness. Where is my sadness? Where is my sadness coming from? Where is it going? And sometimes you can't. But in other cases, you may have no idea why you feel sad. So how to talk about it. So what you do when you're sad, you might describe yourself as feeling lonely. You might describe yourself as feeling lonely, maybe heartbroken, maybe gloomy, maybe you've had a disappointment, maybe you feel hopeless. Well, you have to, remember last week I said, you have to grieve those unhappy, lost troubles that assign miserable, because you don't want to be miserable. You always want to look for the positive side of life. Like, in other words, what makes me happy is the Word of God. Sadness can be hard to shake, but depending on your situation, I'm going to give you some tips that might help. Okay, you always have to mourn the part that's you're sad. Okay, so you have to know why you're sad, because you lost someone, or you're thinking, you're dwelling on something, but you have to mourn it. Remember, I told you that last week and the week before. You have to mourn those and grieve and let it come out of you, because if it stays in you, then it becomes a health problem. Whether you're trying to recover from a loss or a breakup, a change, or a failure to achieve a goal, you have to acknowledge your loss, can help you accept and work through it. Every time you accept something, that's probably when you're towards getting well. It might help to talk about the pain you are in, but it also might help to simply sit with your feelings for a while or express them. Normally, if something bothers me, I have a person that I call and talk about it, and she's had a lot of, she got a degree in psychology, and she'll give me her point of view, and then of course I go to God first, and then before you know it, it's gone. Do something worthwhile. If you have recently lost someone you cared about, donate your time to a cause they supported. Reach out for support. Don't have too much pride. In other words, just humble yourself and say, you know what, I need to talk to someone. But again, like I always tell you every week, you have to talk to someone you trust. That's so important. That's part of the health that we have to take, is talk to somebody that cares and loves you, and just know that. So do something worthwhile. Reach out for support. And this is easier said than done when you are in a low point. So I'm not saying that you're going to get up after watching this and say, I'm going to call my trustworthy friend and I'm going to share what I'm going through right now. Just sit down and just evaluate it, check it out, and then see where you're coming from. Try to remember the people in your life who care for you and likely want to help you, because there's people around you that want to help you. Just remember that. There's always people there around us that want to help us. The pain of a heartache does ease in time, even if you cannot imagine that at the moment. If your sadness lingers or begins to have a significant impact on daily life, then I really, really would recommend that you get a hold of someone that you can talk to, because I think the key is finding someone you trust to talk to, because it's not going to go away by itself. I know that, because everything that I've gone through, it didn't go away by itself. I had to work at it and practice and learn and be obedient and submit myself to the Word. And so there's a process that we have to do in our part. So don't forget, I have 3 books for sale, and I have these 2 here. So if you're interested in these 2, and by the way, I've gotten great reviews, so I'm really happy that people are enjoying my book here, the last one. And I like to sell it before November the 3rd, so you only have 3 days, so hurry up and come and buy the rest of my books, because there's good things in both of the books. So God bless you, and I'll see you next week, and hopefully you'll call somebody and make sure that you put a comment, you put like, and share it with somebody else, because some of you are doing it, and I appreciate that, because I've seen that. It'll say share by Sylvia Apodaca, or it'll say Judy will say something, Mark, all these wonderful people that I have had the opportunity to meet in my life. Charles has, John has, just so many of you have responded to what I've asked you to do. I thank you, and I thank Loretta, and I thank Gina. I'm trying to think of names that I've seen you making comments. Debbie, I thank you, Debbie, for those nice remarks. So there's been, if I missed your mentioning your name today, Nikki, you guys have really supported me, so I appreciate your support, and I hope I can get more in the future, because the more I get, the more I can teach. So God bless you.